Good morning, and welcome to If You Ain't Laughing, You Ain't Living podcast. And today we're going to talk about men's health for a brief spell. We're going to talk about the importance of men going to the doctors and getting themselves checked out because preventative maintenance is your best friend. I am a two-time cancer survivor. But the one that we'll be talking about today, more importantly, is the prostate cancer. I am an advocate for prostate cancer. I am an advocate for men's awareness and men's health. I am an advocate for it because I went through the process. Therefore, I can speak directly to you about it. And I can also, my intent is to help the families live, help the men live, and help the women with the opportunity to enjoy their spouse, their fathers, their uncles, their brothers, and longer in life. So let's get into it. The first thing I like to say is men of all ages, but particularly in the age category now of 35 and up, please, please, please go get yourself checked. Go get your prostate checked and go get your colonoscopy checked. And if you don't have a lot of knowledge in this area, I'm going to give a little bit what I have. I'm going to share a little bit because it has been misconstrued over the years that the colonoscopy and the prostate are both the same or in the same screening, but that's not true. The fact is there are two different screenings for those, and they both are susceptible to cancer. There are a lot of men who have transitioned from this life to the next because of lack of information, lack of knowledge, and fear. And the most important thing that you do not want to do is be afraid to let a doctor check you out. My journey was one for the time as such as this because I had no issues. I had absolutely no health issues. I wasn't sick. I wasn't ill in any manner. In fact, the way I found out was I was being read my good doctor report from my primary doctor at the time. My primary physician was literally reading to me how my blood work came back. Everything was good. The cholesterol was good. Blood pressure was good. All my vitals were great. All the numbers were good. And in that moment while I'm sitting in his office and he is telling me how healthy I am, I heard this voice in my ear, and that voice will be the voice of God telling me to advise him to check my prostate. And that's how my journey began as far as me in the prostate cancer journey. I'm going to do my very best to sum it up, but I do not want to miss the key points that you need to know so you will be prompted to go and get yourself checked. In that moment, when I heard the voice of God to tell me to have my doctor check my prostate, I've learned that doctors have a certain criteria that they have to meet in their profession. And one of them I've learned is they have to operate within the insurance guidelines. If you have insurance, they have guidelines. A lot of people don't know this information. So this is why I know God has chosen me to share it with you, because a lot of people just are unaware. But there are guidelines with insurances that won't allow you to have more than a certain amount of blood work done within a certain amount of time frame, which ultimately could interfere with the knowledge that you need to know for self-care and self-awareness. And I was in that realm of time frame. So my doctor didn't want to check my prostate at the time. He didn't want to give me an exam. He didn't want to check my blood again because he was just reading my blood work. Therefore, he pretty much was trying to deny me the opportunity to get checked at that moment. Not to mention how healthy I looked on the surface, how healthy I was according to his numbers. So I'm saying all that to let you know that there will be little obstacles that may come up in that moment where you are feeling like you need to get this done, but the doctors can persuade you or dissuade you from moving forward. That's a trick. And that's not a trick from them. That's a trick of the enemy trying to work against you. I'm encouraging every human being that's a male species and the wives and the loved ones of these men, do not stop and don't take no for an answer. Ultimately, you are the employee because if you have insurance, you're paying them. So all you have to do is make the request, and if they deny the request, then you can take whatever action that you need to get it done. Just do not give up, because if you give up, you could be giving up your life. I didn't give up because I knew that what I heard didn't come from a man. It came from the highest of Most High. It was God that was really protecting me from what the enemy tried to do, was taking me out. So I acted on it. We had a conversation, and this is one of the key notes that I want to share with you all. In that moment when he denied me, and his own words were that the insurance were going to send a red flag, if I were not strong in who I believe in and the power of God, I would have said, oh, okay, no problem, which a lot of us do. But instead, I was persistent. Be persistent in your journey of life. Be persistent in your health, because this is your health. Do not give up. When you feel that little notion and that nudge in your spirit, and your discernment is kicked in full blast, go with it. Don't give up. And I didn't. And it took a lot. It took a lot of conversation, but every word from that point on was God working through me to help him as well realize that he's a physician, but there's a God that gave him that right to be a physician. So our conversation ended before he checked on me. I had to explain to him that although we were different in our skin color, that we were both men. And I asked him the question of the difference between, besides our hair color, the color of our eyes and how our texture of our hair is and our skin color, what made us different? Because he was reading to me about African American testing as opposed to Caucasian and any other race. And I found that very important for us to know that. Don't be fooled by that either. That's another trick. Quite frankly, that was my point to him. While besides all those features that we can recognize face to face, internally we still the same person. Internally we have the same setup. I have this, he has that. So that got his attention when I mentioned it to him that way, and that's what prompted him to do whatever he did to get me tested. Now fast forward. In this testing process, he was in denial because he just knew I was so healthy. Well, when he first checked me, or when I first got checked, and I asked him to check me the manual way. Advanced technology has made things a lot easier in the medical field. I'm a little inquisitive, and I'm also a little unsettling when it comes to something I feel like I want done the old school way. I think about old medicine sometimes, as opposed to the new way of things. Everything's been pretty much advanced, but I feel like some of it's been watered down. I feel like the old methods that they had before advanced technology and medicine got kicked in, it was more hands-on. It was more definitive as far as they know, because they only could feel the prostate back in the day. Now they test it through your PSA, your blood. And so God prompted me to tell him to check it the old way. And he didn't want to at first again, but down the line, I got sent to a urologist. They tested me through my blood first. It was 2.8. A week later, it was 3.1. A week or so after that, it was 3.4. So that's what prompted them to check me manually. When they checked me manually, my prostate was not enlarged. If it's enlarged, that means that you typically are dealing with some sort of prostate issue. But mine was normal size. Again, old medicine tactics were, if it was normal and not enlarged, you were healthy, your prostate wasn't in jeopardy. Mine wasn't enlarged, so according to what they felt, it was a little confused to them how my PSA levels were high, but my prostate was still normal. That's when my inner being really was on board to know that this was a God thing to save people. This was definitely a God thing to help people. If I was willing to take the journey in obedience, that I'll be able to help many, many people. So here I am. Fast forward, they sent me to I had an outpatient procedure done. They took a sample of my prostate, sent it to the pathologist, and certainly came back stage 4 prostate cancer. And after that, the process began. The journey began. Men, if you go through this process, be aware that it's a journey, but don't be afraid of this journey. If it's whatever keeps you with your family, if you love your family, such as I loved mine, I was willing to go through the process with no problem, no hesitation. We have to get rid of that fear factor. We have to get rid of the old way of they're not violating me. Fact is, if you want to live and enjoy your children growing up and graduating and all those beautiful things that we experience and the grandchildren first walk, you're going to get a little violated. You know, they're going to have to check you thoroughly in order for you to live. So don't fool yourself and think that that moment, that few seconds of being uncomfortable is worth a lifetime with your family. That's the worst math in the world if you believe that. Prepare yourself to go through the journey and go through the journey all the way to the very end until you are able to tell your testimony to someone else, such as I'm doing right now with you. The moral to this is prostate cancer is what they call the slow killer of men. There aren't many warning signs in the beginning. About time that signs started being noticed, it's pretty much in bad shape. That's why they call it the silent killer of men, because about time that men actually notice and pay attention to changes in their body. Either we don't tell anyone about it for embarrassment reasons, but it affects a lot of our men parts. Respectfully to the people that are watching this video, for the men, it affects our man parts. It's about the size of a walnut, the prostate is, but it has a lot of functions to it, some that we appreciate the most. That being said, it's worth attending to. It's worth getting checked out. It's worth it because it affects your urine flow and other things that's associated with your genital area. So just make sure that you do some research, talk to a doctor. All this internet stuff, you can actually Google it now and get a little bit more insight than you know on your own, and make an appointment just to get it checked out. The good thing about it is once you get in the clear of it and you get it checked out, you'll feel much better that you got that over. Now you can move on to the next thing. Same as the colonoscopy. I have not experienced any form of colonoscopy discomfort or issues because I stay screened every 5 years. But it is something that you need to check out as well. Get screened on your colonoscopy as well. Again, it's been histories. Men, for some reason, we associate those as being the same. They're totally different, two different functions for those. So just get that checked out. I'm trying to help us live longer and avoid medications and avoid the trauma of missing out on life that's promised to you by God. So you don't want to willingly just give up this freedom of enjoying the pleasure of being alive and well when all you have to do is make a doctor's appointment and go through with it. To the women of these men, whoever you are, whatever your role is in that man's life, please encourage him. Please encourage him to just go to the doctor. If you have to go with him, if you got to hold his hand, if you got to give him a Tootsie Roll lollipop at the end of the visit, do whatever it is that you have to do to get your husband or your father or your brother, your cousin, your children maybe. Get these men to the doctor. Get these men screened, because this particular subject is changing. It's moving at an alarming rate, and it's happening to a younger generation of people. So because of my situation, I was in my 40s, my late 40s, it's happening now to people in their 30s, their early 30s, which is unheard of back in the day. So I just thank you all for giving me an opportunity to share that with you all. I know I don't want to miss anything because it's so important to start the process, first of all. Secondly, men, for the stories that you've been told by your grandfathers and your fathers maybe that scared you, disregard that. They make those stories sound so traumatic about how and what you have to go through. The truth of the matter is, if you get your prostate checked manually, that means a doctor will put a glove on and he'll take a finger and he'll for a split second put his finger and rub your prostate through your rectal area, and that's it. That's all it is. He have to check it in your rectal area. So therefore, a lot of men have found their place in the cemetery because they did not want that to happen because of the stories that were told about that. Well, I'm here to tell you I had it, and I'm still alive to tell you about it, which means it's not that bad. You don't get to pick the size of the finger that's going to get the job done, but you do get a finger. If you ain't laughing, you ain't living. So just know, whatever it is, and they're not supposed to be in there with that finger too long. Just know you have a voice. So if the finger get lodged in there some kind of uncomfortable way, open your mouth wide and just tell them, hey, I think you've been back there a little too long. I don't know what kind of test you're doing. I don't know if they find another test. But those are the things that's going to go through your head. Don't run from it. If they give you the option to pick your finger, you can pick every finger but the thumb and the pinky. Okay? So this is your boy, Comedian Doc, on a serious note today, because I love you and I want to help you. And I want to help you spend as much time with your family, your friends, and enjoying this life that God allowed us to have. I'm willing to share and be transparent. I wish there were a way that you can reach out to me and ask questions, because that's what I love, sharing information. At this time, I don't have it, I don't believe. Actually, you can reach me by email. My email address is Jermaine, Jermaine, the number 1, Wright, WRIGHT, the numbers 73@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And it's strictly confidential. That's the type of person I am, and that's just respect. But please, if you want to be off the radar, I will not expose whatever question you ask, but I want to help you. And if you've been afraid and I've helped enlighten your situation, I appreciate you listening to me. But again, it is a very serious situation when prostate cancer is in your body. It's toxic. At the end of the day, it's all toxic, and it doesn't belong there. So if you have a voice that's telling you to go get it checked, do not ignore that voice. That is God's spirit trying to do what he does, and that helps us. Don't avoid that voice. Don't put it to the side. Don't prolong it. Act immediately on that, because God is an on-time God, so don't forget that, okay? So I thank you all for listening. I appreciate you all for coming out. I would like to put my phone number out there, but I'm a little scared about that because this world is so crazy. But you know what? I'm going to trust God. My phone number is 863-697-8549. You can shoot me a text, and we can set up something where we can, once again, my phone number is 863 area code 697-8549. And reach out to me. Send me a text to let me know that you got the information, that you appreciate it. If you want more information, I can certainly give you everything that I have. I shortened it up a little bit because of the time frame that I have to work with. Nonetheless, we can still keep in contact through those avenues of communication. So thank you again for listening. I love you all so much, and transparency is the name of the game for me. God bless you. We'll see you soon. Thank you for tuning in to If You Ain't Laughing, You Ain't Living. God bless.